to improve your relationship with money. It is the new year, and no matter when you are tuning in to this podcast, listening to this episode, this is going to be helpful on your money mindset journey. So, we all have different money stories. We all have different money experiences. Some of us grew up with a lot of money, some of us grew up with not enough money, and some of us are like, I wasn't poor, but I wasn't rich, and I don't really know how to classify myself. So, do I have a negative relationship with money, or do I have a neutral relationship with money? And a lot of times, we really compare ourselves to others, and that's kind of where it gets us sticky and prickly. So, today, we're going to go over the 7 areas that you can really dive in deeper and use these 7 areas to skyrocket and jumpstart your success for the new year or whenever you're listening to this audio. So, number one is we have to clear any money shame or guilt. The number one emotion that my clients experience when we are doing money work is shame and guilt. Well, I feel shameful for the past money choices I've done. I feel guilty for the past money experiences. I feel guilty that I have more money than others and I'm not using it the way that they think I should use it, or maybe I'm not feeling responsible, financially responsible with how I'm spending my money or how I'm saving it or how I'm investing it, and you name it. And what happens is this shame and this guilt paralyzes you. So you can think about, we all know trauma. Trauma gets stuck in the body, and trauma causes us to have what's called a trauma response. And there are 5 different trauma responses. And if you want to dive deeper on my YouTube channel, I actually have a full in-depth video on every single trauma response, all 5 types of trauma response. Money can and will trigger money wounds. So if you have shame or guilt, you will get triggered by money. Money will trigger you. Whether you're paying your bills, money will trigger you. Whether you're getting paid, whether you got an unexpected check, money will trigger you. And you're like, okay, so what will the trigger look like? So the different money triggers are, you might go and spend it. You're like, I don't feel safe to keep this money, so I'm going to spend it. But none of this is conscious. You're not like, I'm feeling triggered and therefore I'm going to go spend my money. It's very subtle. It's like, oh, let me go to Target for popcorn and, water. And then you leave with $100 worth of items. And you're like, wait a minute, I went to Target just for 5 items. Now, how come I have all of these things? Another money trigger is withholding. So not spending any money at all. This looks like your friends would invite you to dinner and you're like, no way, I can't afford it. Or your friends are like, let's hang out. And you're like, oh, I can't afford to do XYZ. And you're withholding experiences because of the shame and guilt. So how do we clear money, shame, and guilt? Is what you're going to do is you're going to create a money peace list. You're going to identify all of the memories where you felt money shame and money guilt. And then you're going to make a plan. How can I heal this? And you are in luck because I just launched inside of my EFT tapping library a 7-day money mindset reset. So all the themes that I'm talking about today, you can actually do journal prompts, EFT tapping, visualizing, and then aligned actions to get you in alignment with your money goals for 2025. So all the themes I'm talking about, I actually have a tapping video on, so you are in luck. So money shame holds us back. Money shame paralyzes us. It keeps us stuck. And if we don't address our money shame and our money guilt day one, we will not be able to achieve our financial goals. So what that looks like is making peace with your past. Okay, I can't go back in time and change my money decisions, but I can learn from them. Okay, how can I gain some wisdom? How can I gain some insights? How can I gain some lessons so I'm not repeating these money stories over and over and over again? And how can I start to feel neutral with money, right? What's the difference between a $1 bill, a $5 bill, a 10, a 20, a 100? It's the meaning we've assigned to it, because money on paper is all the exact same. It's the meaning we've decided that this means $1, this means $100, but it's like the same thing. So now ask yourself, ooh, how can I release the shame I have? Because shame means I'm a bad person. Guilt means I've done something bad. Okay, well, we don't need to have our past define us. We don't need to have our past dictate and determine what happens tomorrow. So, step one, area one that you're going to identify is where you need to clear any money shame or money wounds that are resulting in feeling guilty. So, the next one is the fear of money instability. So, I want you to think about going to a beach and like picking up sand. What happens when you pick up dry sand and your hands are not in a cup, like they're spread out, right? You're picking up the sand and the sand is literally falling through the cracks of your hand. That is what financial instability looks and it feels like. It's like I'm able to collect the money, but it's literally falling through my hands. So, what that tells me is that your fear of money, you have a fear that money is not sustainable. Maybe you have a belief that I can generate money, but I can't keep it. Or maybe you have a belief that money is easy to make, but money is hard to keep. Or maybe you're like, every time I make money, I have bills that are higher than what I'm making, right? So that tells me that you have an unstable relationship with money and a fear. So think about your childhood. Were you able to trust money? And you probably didn't even know what that meant as a child. So then ask about your caregivers. Were your parents, were your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents? What was their relationship like with money? Were they able to hold money or did they experience the same sand analogy? You're like, all right, we're eating really well on payday, but then a few days before payday, what do we do, right? So then you keep asking yourself, what is my relationship like with money? Is it fear based or is it trust based? How can I trust that me as an individual can generate more money over and over and over? How can I trust myself that money is always coming? Money is always going to show up, that I'm smart enough, that I'm clever enough, that I'm unique enough to trust that money can always show up. And a lot of times we doubt our own abilities. We're like, oh, I'm not clever enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not cute enough. Someone else is further along. And then we believe that other people have something else outside of themselves. When in reality, you have everything you need to make the life you want, but we don't believe. So that brings us to area number 3 that we get to work on and dive down deeper. What are your beliefs about money? We have to break through your limiting beliefs about money. Do you believe that money is the root of all evil? Do you believe that money is hard to come by? Do you believe that having an abundant, luxurious, wealthy lifestyle is easy for others, but it's not easy for you? What are those beliefs that you have about money and how are they holding you back or how are they keeping you stagnant in growing your dream life? We know we need money in order to have your dream life. If you want location freedom, if you want time freedom, you need to have financial freedom first, because without financial freedom, you will not be able to achieve your dream life. So, really start to dive deeper. What are those beliefs that you have about money? Do you believe I'm not smart enough to make more money? I have to go back to school. I have to change my entire career. What are those belief systems that you have about money? And what happens when you try to think something new? What if you started to think, like, I'm so lucky, money always comes around me? You might be like, well, I don't believe that to be true. And so then what happens again is our old beliefs, right? The fear of money, feeling shame and guilt, those start to take over. And when those are the forefront of your mind, that's all you can see. Think about wearing like rose colored glasses. All you're going to see is everything with rose colored glasses, but through the negative lens of money, that money is not safe, that I can't trust it, I can't make more. Or we have this belief that I have to work really, really hard to get it. I have to work hundreds and hundreds of hours. I have to be nonstop. I have to sacrifice my sleep, my happiness, my family, because one day it'll be worth it. So then we can ask ourselves, what if I had the belief that money was really easy to make? What if I had the belief that making money is my birthright? What if I had the belief that making money was as easy as taking a deep breath? If I believed that, how could my entire world change? And when we start to install more empowering beliefs, because first in our mind and second in our reality, if we start to experience more empowering beliefs, then that brings us to number 4, which is expanding our wealth capacity. So, our wealth capacity is how much our nervous system feels safe to have with money. If you, let's say last year made six figures in your business or your professional career, and this next year you're like, I want to double it, I want to triple it, then you can ask yourself, how can I expand my wealth capacity to handle more money? Oh, well, maybe I can do some nervous system regulation. And nervous system regulation keeps your body in the peace state. Otherwise, money will trigger our stress state. And when we are in our stressed state of mind, what happens is we start to repel money. We let old money beliefs come forward and say it's not safe to keep money, it's not safe to treat myself. Oh, well, I got money, but I have to pay my bills. And then we start to resent money because other people are going on vacations and we're over here like, man, I just wish I could go on a vacation because we haven't created that wealth capacity in our nervous system. And the easiest way to create wealth capacity is EFT tapping. EFT tapping is going to expand how much your body feels safe to have with money. It's also going to regulate your body. It's also going to rewire your brain. So, how amazing that we have this 7-day money mindset reset that is really designed for you to grow and expand in all areas in your life. That brings us to number 5, and that is creating gratitude around your current financial situation. So, you have to remind yourself no matter how much money you're making today, if you're making more than you thought, less than you thought, there's a version of you that worked to get here. And a lot of times we focus on the gap of where we're at to where we want to go instead of giving ourselves gratitude for all the steps we've done to create the gain, right? You had to do a lot of work to get to where you're at today. I can guarantee it wasn't easy. We had to do a lot of inner work. We had to take a lot of inspired actions. We had to push the fear aside and believe in ourselves. So ask yourself, how can I create gratitude for where I'm at today, knowing that more is always coming? And if we're giving ourselves gratitude for where we're at today, a lot of times people will say, well, am I sending a signal to God, source, universe, angels that I don't want more? No, you can have both, right? We can hold both ideas. We can trust that more is coming, but also be grateful for what we have, knowing that we have an amazing life today. Or maybe we're in one of those valleys where it's like, maybe my life isn't so amazing, but I know that more is always coming. So, how can I create gratitude for the money I have today, knowing that more is always available? More is always available, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what field you're in, more money is always available. So, how can you give yourself gratitude to trust and believe that? So, theme number 6 is aligning yourself to the wealthiest self. This is all about identity and self-concept. Who do you believe you are? If someone were to interview you and say, who are you? Would you see yourself as a wealthy, abundant person? And I didn't say financially wealthy or financially abundant, right? But our brain goes straight to money. Do you believe that you're wealthy? Do you believe that you're abundant? If you don't believe that today, it'll be very difficult to align yourself with an identity of someone who is wealthy. Okay, so you're like, well, how do I align myself with someone who is wealthy? Okay, what are those thoughts that wealthy people have, that abundant people have? They probably have thoughts that everything is always working out for them. They probably have thoughts that there's always a solution to every problem, right? If we think about a broke mindset is there's always problems, there's no solutions. I can't figure it out. More is not coming. Okay, so if we're going to take the step back, we're going to relabel our self-concept, we're going to relabel our identity. What would I rather believe? Oh, I would rather believe that everything is working out for me. I would rather believe that more opportunities are always coming. I would rather believe that if one door closes, 10 doors are going to open. I would rather believe that consistency is going to help me achieve my goals. Okay, so then how can you apply those belief systems to your current situation? And when you apply those belief systems with your current situation, it is only a matter of time for your financial situation to change, your financial reality to change, because now you've aligned all the steps. We've got the beliefs, we've got the emotions, we've cleared the past, we've changed our relationship with money. And that leads us to our last step, setting your intention and manifesting abundance. Setting your intention. What do you want with money? How do you want to use money? Do you want to use money to travel? Do you want to use money to change your living situation? Do you want to buy your dream house, your dream car? Do you want to go on a dream vacation? Or do you want money to allow you to be able to work less? That was something that I really wanted to work on last year. I was working 30, 40 hours a week in 2023. And I said in 2024, I don't want to work more than 20 hours. I set the intention. I cleared the shame around, oh, what will people think if I work less than 20 hours a week? I released the identity that working less means I won't make as much money. I broke through those limiting beliefs of what does that say about me as a person who works less hours? And I expanded my wealth capacity. I had so much gratitude. And then in 2024, I made more money than 2023 and I worked half as many hours. So setting the intention of what do you want your life to look like? If the answer is yes, what am I asking for? And then what do I need to clear that's holding me back? And what can I install that will help me achieve those goals? And when you join the 7-day money mindset reset, every single day, 7 days, 7 tapping videos are going to help you get into the alignment, get into the frequency of the abundance and wealth that you are seeking. Because day one, we're clearing any money shame. Money shame has no room for you, because here's the thing. If you are listening to this podcast, you are a healthy person. You are a kind, helpful, kind person. Can you imagine the amazing good things you could do with having more money? Can you imagine how generous you could be, how resourceful you could be? That's pretty amazing. Oh, but guilt and shame will block you from the flow of abundance. If you have these beliefs that money isn't safe, how can you be a resourceful person? How can you be a vessel for change in the community if we are afraid of money? Because what do we know? Money helps in so many areas. I love Taylor Swift, and every single community that she was going to during the Eras Tour, she was donating to the food bank, she was donating to this, she was uplifting the economy. She had such a positive impact that governments were calling her and saying, we need you to get to our country because we know your impact. Canada and Singapore both reached out to Taylor Swift and said, we need you to come. How can we make it happen? Because we know the positive impact of money. So now asking yourself, could you give yourself permission in this year, 2025, to release the money shame, release the money beliefs, step into the most abundant version of you, and live the life of your dreams, knowing that you're a healthy, kind person who's going to give back and help others. So if you are wanting to join the EFT tapping library, there's over 130 EFT tapping videos to jumpstart your dream life. And we are in the middle of the 7-day money mindset reset. So whenever you join, the money mindset reset will be available for you to tap along. And I am so excited. I will see all of you guys next Thursday for our podcast. Have an amazing day.